Hey Cloud Gurus, and welcome to this episode of Azure This Week. Before we start, last week was all about Microsoft Ignite. There were a ton of announcements coming out of the conference, and luckily we had Lars Klint over there bringing you daily updates directly from the conference center in Orlando. If you haven't already seen those, I encourage you to go back and check them out. Not only will it get you up to speed on a bunch of the announcements from the conference, but Lars also interviews some brilliant guests from Microsoft too. So again, go and check those out if you haven't already. In this episode, however, we're going to take a look at 3 new updates from Microsoft Azure. There's a new consumption tier for API management in private preview, Ansible 2.7 is coming, and there's an advanced threat protection for Azure Storage. Today, Azure API Management is billed by the hour, and it also takes a little bit of time to provision your API management instance too, which is okay for a lot of development use cases, but some developers, mainly those building serverless apps with Azure Functions, were after something a little more, well, serverless. Now in private preview, there's a new consumption tier for Azure API Management. This has a number of serverless properties, such as instant provisioning, automated scaling, both up and down, built-in HA, and you'll only be billed per action, making it the perfect companion for Azure Functions. There will be some limitations compared to the existing tiers, such as, for example, the new tier won't have a developer portal. So if that is something that you need, then maybe this isn't the right tier for you. Ansible is a very popular tool, particularly in the DevOps space, for configuration management, automating cloud provisioning, and application deployment. Azure and Ansible have always worked pretty nicely together, and in the current version 2.6, there are 49 Ansible cloud modules for provisioning Azure resources. This week, Ansible version 2.7 will be released, and this will include support for an additional 21 cloud modules for Azure, bringing the total supported up to 70. Some of the newly supported services include Azure Traffic Manager, Azure Web Apps, as well as Azure Database for SQL, MySQL, and Postgres. To help you get started with these modules, there are 2 new tutorials you can check out. One that looks at deploying web apps with Jenkins and Ansible, and another on managing web traffic with Ansible and Azure App Gateway. We'll provide a link to both of these tutorials in the show notes. Being a security expert is pretty hard, so I really love it when cloud providers give us tools that help make our applications more secure. One tool that definitely ticks this box is the new Advanced Threat Protection for Azure Storage accounts. This feature will look for any unusual or potentially harmful attempts to access or exploit your storage account and alert you right away. The alert will include a severity level, some details about the activity, as well as some investigation and remediation steps that you can take to resolve the incident. By default, these alerts are emailed to you. However, you can also view them in the Security Alert section of Azure Security Center. Advanced Threat Protection alerts can be triggered by 6 supported event types, such as access permission changes or access from unusual locations. This feature is in public preview, but you can enable it today by simply selecting to activate the feature in your storage account settings. And that's it for this episode of Azure This Week, where we looked at the private preview of the consumption tier for Azure API Management, additional support for Azure resources in Ansible 2.7, and the public preview of Advanced Threat Protection for Azure Storage accounts. And don't forget to check out the Microsoft Ignite specials from Lars to keep on top of what happened last week. Until next time, keep being awesome, Cloud Gurus.